YouTube, what's going down? I know the lighting is kind of shit right now, but I have to improvise because I'm in my office and that's why there's all this stuff on the walls. And I said I was gonna make a video for you guys this Wednesday because I want to continue to do this. I know I always lie to you too and I'm like, hey guys, I'm gonna start making videos again. But this time, I don't know if I mean it or not. I'm just gonna make this and it's a little short one for you and then we'll see where we're at. Because if I'm very honest, I only have so many scarred stories, you know what I mean? Like, only so much things have been traumatizing to me. Granted, a ton of things are very traumatizing to me, but I see it take some time for self-reflection and remember all those things that I blocked out so long ago. So guys, this is hitting girls scarred me. Now, first and foremost, I need to say, never hit girls. I know I'm not gonna make a lot of friends saying it, but you know, I just don't believe in it. But there is something to be said about like when you're a kid, like the odds are fair right then. When you're like a little boy and you're a little girl, you're like, I mean, you should be hitting people in general. I don't believe in violence. But it's not like when you're 23 hitting another 23-year-old. That's like miserable. That's a very bad thing. I guess I'm trying to justify me hitting somebody, but you need to understand who I'm up against here. This video reverts back to my neighbors. And I talked about it in this video right here. And you have to remember that the dad from this neighborhood particularly had it out for me. I think there's something interesting, like when you're a kid, I feel like you always get trapped in situations when like the parents are like screaming at their kids and you can't leave because you're not old enough to like make decisions for yourself. And you have to just like sit there and like watch your friend get like yelled at. And to give you an idea of like how this dad rolled, this one particular time we're in the car, I'm in the front seat, I don't know why, his daughters are in the back, and Liar Liar just came out in theaters. So we're all chatting, and the first thing that comes to my head, just to, you know, break the ice with everyone, I say, hey guys, have you seen Liar Liar? It is so awesome. Granted, I'm like 8 years old at this point, so maybe it's like a little inappropriate for me, but like, we're all new age children. We understand that sometimes people swear. Now that I think about it, it's probably why I have such a foul mouth now. The dad goes, you may want to see it, but that movie's not for ladies. This is where one of the neighbor girls veered very hard and said, well then maybe I don't want to be a lady. Wrong answer, McFly! Name that quote. If you do, we're best friends. Psst. The dad, while I'm in the front seat, like slams on the brakes and goes over to the side and starts like screaming at them. Don't you ever say you don't want to be a lady! At first I wasn't sure if he was talking to me because he had to like turn and look at me in order to say that. I'm just thinking to myself, would you want me to be a lady? Like that does not feel comfortable in any of these things, but I'll pretty much do whatever I have to do to get out of this situation. But I think this dad always had it out for me because like my parents were very like open-ended in what they allowed me to like do and watch and see and wanted me to like, experience things. And I'd always pass that on to our neighbor girls, and that was like the catalyst that I really couldn't stick with this dude. For example, all of our neighbor kids started a club together in the basement of their house. We all voted on a president. I ended up being the president, and I'm still honored to this day to be the president of the Pillow Fort Club. I remember we all went upstairs and we told the dad that I ended up being the president, and he made us all re-vote in front of him because his daughters didn't end up being like on the legislative board of the Pillow Making Club. Pillow Making, Pillow Fort, I don't remember what the club was really about. I just remember playing a lot of Mario Kart and doing that spinning move where you get like the calluses right there and like rip off your skin, but you end up being really good and getting a lot of stars. So now to the brass point of this story was that one time one of the girls over at my house and we're playing Mario Kart, we're getting into it, it's getting like pretty serious. Now keep in mind, I'm like 8 years old and she's like telling me a story and she's like, oh yeah, I was running through the woods or something and a branch like hit me like this. She like swats me really gently and I was like, oh yeah, cool. But like I'm 8 and my imagination is big and I also don't really know my own body. So I was like, oh, you mean like this? And without any like process of thinking, I just gave her a huge like whack on the face. Now right then and there, yes, she did cry, and yes, I felt really bad, but like we worked it out right then and there. Like, you know, we did actually a very mature adult thing. Like, I apologized, we worked it out, she stopped crying, we kept playing, life was good. Then a day later comes. The next day, I come over to their house to play. You know, we're gonna play some jump rope, maybe some double dutch, I don't know, play a game of pig, play some Pocahontas in the backyard. The game Pocahontas basically consumed of us running through the woods with no shoes on, and the last one to complain won. So I go over, I ring the doorbell, and I'm expecting to see the two girls. As it turns out, my worst nightmare shows up, and it's their dad. Before I could even get out of my voice asking if the girls were home, he instantly starts screaming at me saying, don't you ever hit girls ever again! If I ever hear about you doing this, la 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 la! I have no idea what he was actually saying. Because in my head, all I'm thinking is, I'm so sorry, kind sir, but you must be humbly mistaken because actually your daughter and I worked this out and I apologized to her and did legitimately feel very bad that I hurt her and I did not mean to do it. And we worked past this and now we're actually back to being friends again. All that came out was me just bawling, crying, that this like older man felt like he needed to like scream his lungs out at like an 8-year-old who had like actually done the right thing. So my scarred story kind of ends there, like being an 8-year-old being scared shitless of this like 40-year-old full-grown man for some reason taking all his frustrations on me. But I'm very sure that he now has a scarred story of his own. Because I ran home screaming, bawling, crying, and I went straight to my mom. Something you need to know about my mom. She's scary as fuck. Now normally my mom is actually like a really peaceful, nice, funny, and like loving individual. But if she even hears like an ounce of me being like hurt or distraught or like just feeling bad, and she knows who caused that feeling, she will come down on them like a honey badger. She don't give a shit. She will just do what she's gotta do in order to like right the wrong. So she like stomped over there and she just laid into this dude. And I don't know exactly what she said. What I do know is that I literally never had a conversation with him after that. I'd go over to their house and basically he would just ignore me. I'm pretty sure my mom either threatened his life or just like roughed him up a bit. But guys, that's the gist of the story. I'm so sorry I was like rushing through this, but I wanted to make sure I got this video out for you guys on Wednesday. I guess in the comments below, let me know, what do you want me to talk about in future scarred stories? What are general themes that you guys are going through as elementary, junior high, high school, college kids? Tell me about these themes that you want me to talk about, like prom, going to college, relationships, and I'll talk about either stories that scarred me on those, or just my general opinion on how you guys should handle it and how to avoid being scarred. Seriously, all your suggestions are welcomed, and I will read every single one of them. Also, be sure to subscribe. It's up there, it's free, and I'll let you know when the next video comes out. And if you want to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, it's all in the description below. All right, guys, as always, I gotta let you know, I love you. I'm in love with you. All right, peace.